Okay, so now I'm going to do your opal sample. I like to start my opals with this is a 70%, 50% cool gray. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my drop edge there. Again, weighted line, so that we already have an established core shadow idea. Highlight is going to be over there. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to actually bring it up and I can't see what I'm doing. And I'm going to put a little shadow and start giving this form in gray, because there's so little color in the stone to give it form. I find without doing this first, it just looks flat. And it is a cab. Remember, it is a cab, so I don't really want it to look flat. So I am going all the way around. I'm just doing a little shading along this edge, and I'm going to bring it up just a bit further on this side here. I'm being very subtle. I'm not doing anything dark here. It's kind of important because this is all going to be part of the stone. So I've got some form happening. I'm going to put in a little bit of a core shadow down here, again close to the edge. Now I'm going to go in, and it's important that you pay attention to how you fill the teeth on this. So I'm going to go in with my white, and I'm going to go across this direction perpendicular to the highlight. And I'm going to put a base of white down. The reason for this is, remember, the gray paper is going to give us gray tones. It's going to force us to have these mid-tones of gray. I actually want to get rid of those for this, because the opal is a white stone and I want it to show up white. You see I'm using my left finger here just to stop the pencil from going outside of the line. So now I have this, basically it's a gray circle with a white overlay, so that you can see some form but not too much. Now I'm going to go in, this is my true blue, and I'm going to start adding some tone to it. Now how you add this doesn't really matter, it's personal preference. Again, if I had an opal in front of me to look at, or somebody else's drawing of an opal, I might choose to do this in different ways. We just know, not pushing hard, going to build up layers of color. Now this is a true green or something like that. Yeah, true green. I try not to use too much of this. It depends, you know, if I was doing a more green toned opal, then I might want more of this. And it's okay if I put the green right over top of the blue. It just gives me a little bit of a shade in there. Now I'm going to go into my goldenrod. The choice of colors, again, is dependent on the actual color of my opal. I try to keep these somewhat together here. And then I'm going to go with a little bit of actual orange. I don't really care for the orange too much, so I don't put too much of that in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of canary in there. Blend a little bit with the three of them. The canary will blend them all together. Now, I'm going to take my white, I'm going to turn my paper. This is 180 degrees because my core shadow is there. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees so that when I go over it, I'm filling more tooth up. And this is going to blend those colors all together, because the colors are underneath. They're inside the stone. So to portray that, I'm putting the stone top on right now. I still have this gray tone down here, and that's going to give me my overall dimension, which is good. I'm going to give it a little bit, make it just a bit whiter here. Now this is simple. Remember, we are just trying to get our clients or our viewers to believe this is an opal. Now I feel there's a little bit too much green in there, and not enough blue, so I'm just going to go in right over that green, a little bit of blue, and then put it back underneath the stone top, and then go in with my gouache. Put in a highlight, and it's going to go right through this green area, which works out. Then if I want to do the cast shadowy thing, this is my black. This time it doesn't really matter which one I do this in. So I'm just adding a little bit of a shadow on this side, just to ground it a little bit. Now this shadow would not be very big because it's right on the ground. This one was done in blue. I could have done it in black. Could have not done it at all. Remember, I'm not letting, you don't have to put that in, and that's the opal.